UPSC Ethics Simplified from Babus to Civil Servants. The General Studies Paper 4 Ethics, Integrity and Aptitude is an essential component of the UPSC mains examination. The Indian Express UPSC Ethics Simplified series to help and enable aspirants in decoding, deconstructing and analyzing the ethics, integrity and aptitude paper. UPSC Ethics Simplified will assist candidates in developing attitudes and approaches to solve matters relating to integrity and probity in public life, as well as involving problem-solving perspective on various issues and situations. The term Babus was frequently used derisively to refer to civil servants and other government officials, and the Indian bureaucracy was earlier labelled Babodom due to its elitism and sense of entitlement. The recent episode of high-handedness of an IAS couple at Delhi's Tyagaraja Stadium once again brings up the question: is the steel frame of India rusting and losing its shine? In a modern democracy, a civil servant is an official in the service of the people and is recruited based on predetermined qualifications. Civil servants are bureaucrats who need to be familiar with the laws and regulation of the country and are expected to act in the best interest of the country and its citizens. They are responsible for managing the resources given to them by the government and making use of them efficiently and effectively. A sound parliamentary system of government requires civil servants to maintain their integrity, fearlessness, and independence. One of the most important functions of the civil service, as stated by the head of the Canadian Public Service, is to speak truth to power. The crisis of ethics and accountability in civil servants exposes many issues related to the structure of the code of conduct, constitutional protection, the politician bureaucratic nexus, and their political victimization. To address these issues and maintain integrity and discipline amongst civil servants, various reform committees such as the Sanathan Committee 1964, Hota Committee 2004, and the most recent Second Administrative Reform Committee Report 2005 have been formed. In the 1930s, a collection of instructions containing do's and don'ts was published under the title Conduct Rules. All India Services Rules 1955 separated the compendium into separate rules. The Sanatan Committee 1964 recommended significantly broadening such rules, which resulted in the 1964 version. These rules were later revised to incorporate additional behavioral norms. According to the All India Services Conduct Rules 1968, every member of the service shall maintain integrity and honesty, political neutrality, promoting of the principles of merit, fairness, and impartiality in the discharge of duties, accountability and transparency, responsiveness to the public, particularly to the weaker section, courtesy, and good behavior with the public. In India, there is no code of ethics of civil servants, though such code exists in other countries. We have a number of conduct rules that prohibit a variety of common activities. These conduct guidelines serve a purpose, but they are not a code of ethics. While the conduct rules contain some general norms such as maintaining integrity and absolute devotion to duty, and not engaging in conduct unbecoming of a government servant, the code of conduct is generally aimed at cataloging specific activities demand undesirable of government servants. There has recently been a concern that more generic norms should be added to the list of acceptable conduct. A draft public service bill proposed by the Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievance and Pensions in 2007 seeks to establish a set of generic expectations of civil servants known as values. The following are the key values envisioned in the bill. Allegation allegiance to the various ideals enshrined in the preamble to the Constitution. Of political functioning, good governance for the betterment of the people to be the primary goal of civil service. Duty to act objectively and impartially, accountability and transparency in decision making, maintenance of the highest ethical standards. Merit to be the criteria in the selection of civil servants consistent, however, with the cultural, ethnic, and other diversities of the nation. Ensuring economy and avoidance of wastage in expenditure, provision of a healthy and congenial work environment, communication, consultation, and cooperation in the performance of function, that is, the participation of all levels of personnel in management. The draft bill also includes provisions for a public service code and a public service management code, which define more specific duties and responsibilities. Violations of the code would result in penalties similar to the current measure and minor penalties imposed by the heads of institutions and organizations. A public service authority is also advised to oversee the implementation of the code and the values mentioned above, as well as to provide advice on the values and the code.